Hello and welcome to Yoga with Glenn. I'm Glenn. Today I have a nice yoga flow that will hopefully leave you feeling grateful for your body. Please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Hop in something comfortable, hop on your mat, and let's get started. To start our practice today, meet me here in Sukhasana, or easy cross-legged seated position. And I have to say right off the bat, I apologize for my voice. I'm just getting over a little bit of a sickness and lost my voice because of it, but please bear with me. But this practice today is about gratefulness. And the best thing we can be grateful for is our body, which allows us to flow through these yoga practices and gets us to where we need to go during day-to-day life. So let's begin, start using our body. Let's do some neck rolls. Tilt your head over to the right, over to the left, to the right again, to the left. With a slight exhale, look down. An inhale, look up. And exhale down. And inhale up. As you exhale, roll the neck down. And inhale, roll it up. And exhale. Inhale on your way up. We'll reverse the circle, so exhale. Inhale on our way up. And exhale. And inhale. And let's return back to center. So start by lifting your left hand. And either keep the hand on your knee, or you can place it on the ground or on a pillow or bolster behind you. Just take a nice deep lateral bend. And with an inhale, come back up to center. Switch arms. Same thing. Nice deep lateral bend. And come back up to center. And inhale, our arms come forward and up. And we'll take a twist. One hand on the knee, the opposite arm behind you. Then inhale, look to the front shoulder, chin to front shoulder. And exhale, chin to back shoulder. Arms come forward and up with an inhale. And exhale, take a twist to the opposite side. One hand on the knee or the thigh, the other hand on the ground behind you. With an inhale, chin to the front shoulder. And exhale, chin to the back shoulder. And with an inhale, our arms come forward and up. And place the arms on the ground. Now, if you're facing the correct way on your mat, you can roll over your knees. If you're like me, just turn and meet me in a table posture. And from here, we can do some back bends and some folds. Inhale for our back bend, which is cow pose. Lift the chest, lift the chin. Send the tailbone up to the sky. And exhale. Round the back, send the shoulder blades towards the sky, tuck the tailbone, chin falls towards the chest. Inhale, another cow. Lift the chest, lift the chin. For a deeper stretch, you can bend the elbows here. And exhale into cat pose. Inhale for cow. And exhale for cat. Tuck the tailbone. Send the shoulder blades up to the sky, rounding the back. Chin falls towards the chest. An option here to come up onto the fingertips, like these spider hands here. We can walk the hands towards the knees for a super cat. Really good stretch. And replace the hands back to the ground. Make sure the toes are tucked, and with an exhale, press back into downward facing dog. And from here, just nice and slow, pedal out the feet. Get some nice good stretches in the hamstrings. Good stretches in the calves. After you're satisfied with that, baby steps, walk towards the front of your mat. And when you get there, inhale for a halfway lift. And an exhale, folds. Another inhale and rise. And circle the arms up, touching the palms overhead. And bring the hands down to heart center. And a slight bend in the knees. And shoot the arms up. Palms touch overhead with a slight back bend. And dive forward, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale again and rise. Circling the arms up, touching the palms overhead. And bringing the hands down to heart center. And again, load up into those legs. Extend the arms overhead, slight back bend. And dive straight forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale again, rise. Circling the arms up, touching the palms overhead. And hands come to heart center. One last time, load up into the knees. Shoot the arms straight overhead, like slight back bend. And dive straight forward, forward fold. Plant the hands on the mat. Step back with the left leg. Stay high in your lunge here. High lunge. Couple bounces a little bit just to get the thighs warmed up. Arch the back for a crescent lunge. And exhale. Come forward. Step back into high plank. Lower all the way down to the ground. Release the toes. Inhale for low cobra. Front hands may float off the ground. And exhale down. Inhale, push up to high plank or come up into a table first and then a high plank. Press back into downward facing dog. And with those baby steps again, walk forward, forward, forward to the front of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Again, circling the arms up, touching the palms overhead. And bringing the hands down to heart center. Inhale, circling the arms up once more. And exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Plant the hands on the mat. Step back with the right leg this time. And high lunge, rise up. A couple bounces to warm up that front thigh. A nice crescent in the back. And fold it forward, hands to the mat. And step back into that high plank. And we'll hold this high plank for just a couple breaths. Just to get that core warmed up and engaged. Make sure we're arrowing in the toes. The heels should be stacked directly over the toes. Make sure your shoulder blades are slightly, not completely locked in, but not completely wrapping around the ribs either. Just a nice evenness in your hands, the L pocket of your hands pointed slightly towards the middle of your mat. And with an inhale, we'll exhale and lower all the way down to our belly. Again, release the toes. And with an inhale, low cobra, press down with the feet, lift the hands, and exhale down. And press up either into high plank or table and then high plank. I'll go high plank, but you are free to use table first. Then come into table posture. And kick the right leg back. And with an exhale, we'll bend back into the leg, chin will fall towards the chest. We're getting a nice stretch in our calf here. And with an inhale, roll over the toes, chin comes slightly up, head comes slightly up also. And exhale, back, nice stretch on the calf. Inhale, shift forward, head slightly up, gaze slightly forward. Exhale, back. And inhale, forward. And with an exhale, come back to neutral. And as you do that, the heel will float off the ground. Opposite hand, forward, floating off the ground as well. And then inhale, grow long. And exhale, connect the elbow to the knee, bird dog. Inhale, grow long. And exhale, crunch. Inhale, grow long. And exhale, crunch. Chin falls towards the chest a little bit here. Inhale, chin lifts slightly. And exhale, crunch. Inhale, grow long. Last one, exhale, crunch. Inhale, grow long once more. And exhale, release the hand and the knee down to the ground. Tuck the toes, press back into downward facing dog. And we'll start with the opposite side. Come back down into table. Kick the opposite leg back. My left in this case. Again, chin falls towards the chest as we rock back and we stretch that calf. And inhale, rolling over the toes. Chin lifts up slightly. And exhale, roll back. Inhale, roll forward. And exhale, back, feeling that stretch on the calf. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, last time back. And back to neutral. Heel floats up. Opposite hand floats up. Inhale, grow long. And exhale, crunch it together. Elbow to knee, chin to chest. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, grow long. Exhale, crunch, chin to chest, elbow to knee. Inhale, grow long, our chin lifts up slightly. And exhale, crunch. Inhale, grow long again, and one more time. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, and return the hand and the knee back to the mat. Step back for high plank. Shift forward, lower down, flow through Chaturanga Vinyasa here. Back bend of your choice, either high cobra or upward facing dog. And transition the way you like into downward facing dog. Now take some baby steps again to the front of your mat between your hands. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Circling the arms up. Touching the palms overhead and bringing the hands down to heart center. Slight bend in the knees here, load up, shoot the arms up and overhead, back bend and dive. Straight forward, forward fold. Inhale with a halfway lift and exhale, fold. Plant the hands on the mat just for stability. Step the left foot back, warrior one style. And when you have your footing, rise up, warrior one. Open up, warrior two. And with an exhale, reverse warrior. And windmill the arms down to the mat. Keep the left hand planted. And either bring the right hand to the opposite leg, or to the right leg, But either way, open up either for this twist with the arm up, or you can keep the arm on the knee. Exhale it down. Step back into high plank. Shift forward, lower down. Chaturanga Vinyasa. Flow through either upward facing dog or high cobra. Either way, meet me in downward facing dog. Those baby steps again towards the front of our mats. Inhale with a halfway lift when you get there. Exhale with a fold, and inhale and we'll rise. Circle the arms up, touching the palms overhead, and bring the hands down to heart center. Load up into the knees again. Arms come up, touch palms overhead, back bend, and dive. Straight forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold again. Plant those hands for stability. Step back with the opposite leg, warrior one style. And rise up into that warrior one. And then open up into that warrior two. Nice deep warrior two. Inhale it back for reverse warrior. And windmill the arms down to the mat. Right hand stays planted and left hand either on this thigh or bring it up for that twist. Just open up through the shoulders either way. Make sure you're twisting through the spine. Hand comes back down to the mat. Step back for a high plank. Shift forward, lower down. Chaturanga Vinyasa again. Inhale, back bend of your choice. And then meet me in downward facing dog. Give a couple more pedals with the feet here. Really stretching out those calves, making your body feel good. Those baby steps again. Bring those feet to the front of your mat. Inhale with a halfway lift when you get there. And exhale, fold. And while you're folded here, nice bend in the knee. And walk your feet, your ankles, your knees, your thighs together. And rise up into chair pose. And hands can come down to heart center here. And we'll take a slight twist over to the left side. The elbow comes in between the thighs. Then inhale, raise the hands up. And exhale, fold it down. Now I'm just going to take a couple of steps back away from this window here. So I don't want to hit the blinds, but inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And sink down into that chair pose. Hands down to heart center. And we'll take another twist. Left elbow between the thighs, both knees pointed forward and even with each other. And come back to center. Arms come up and fold it forward. Inhale, halfway lift, grow long, feel length in the neck. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Arms come forward and up. And sink back into that chair pose. Arms lower down in front of us this time, parallel with the ground. And just with the left hand, watch it as it comes back for that another chair twist variation. And sweep the left arm by the left hip. Arms come up, legs straighten, back bend. And fold it all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. Arms come straight forward and up for a back bend. And then we sink down into our chair pose once more. Arms parallel with the ground. The right side this time. Follow it with your head as the right arm goes back for a nice twist and chair pose. Sweep the right arm by the right hip. Come back and up for a back bend. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Plant the hands. Step back into high plank. Feet can be about hip width apart this time. And we'll hold this high plank. So remember, we're arrowing the feet, our heels stacked over our toes, our belly button, we're sending it towards our spine. And we're not pinching in the shoulder blades, but we're not extending the shoulder blades. We're right in that middle point. And then the L pockets of the hands facing towards the middle, front middle of our mat. And we'll just hold this for a few more breaths. Nice deep inhale, nice deep exhale. Another inhale and exhale, lower down slowly all the way to the ground. Release the toes, inhale for a low cobra. Release the hands and exhale down, forehead to the ground. Table posture, high plank. And this time we're going to step the feet out, and this is going to take a lot of core work. So make sure you're engaging that core, belly button, send it back to the backbone, and step out with the left foot, and step out with the right. Scoot over on my mat so I can do this properly. I'm against the wall here, but again, step out with the left foot, and step out to the right. And you're only stepping out about just slightly wider than your shoulder width. But this is taking a lot of work in the core to stay stable. Make sure your hips stay as level as possible during this. Make sure you're breathing through this. Without oxygen, our body cannot do work. So it's important to keep breathing. Just keep up this rhythm. Step out, step in, step out, step in, tap, 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 and lower all the way down to the ground. And I'll scoot back towards the middle of my mat, but with an inhale, release the toes, low cobra, and exhale back down. Tuck the toes, and either press up into a high plank, or you can go table and then high plank first, but either way, downward facing dog, and again with those baby steps towards the front of the mats. Nice plant with the right foot. Step the left foot back a little bit and rise up for high lunge. And then airplane the arms down so our wrists are kind of by our hips. And we're going to float forward. So I'm going to step back a little bit, not to go through the window here, but floating forward into a nice, strong warrior three, keeping the balance here. Again, engaging the core, neck is neutral, arms down by our sides here. Floating the back heel up. See how great we can balance. Inhale, and then an exhale. Bring that foot back down. And then open up for warrior two. I'm going to step back forward here just so I have the room. Warrior two. And inhale, reverse warrior. And exhale, windmill the arms down again. Step back into high plank. Shift forward, lower down. Chaturanga vinyasa here. Inhale, back bend of your choice. And exhale into downward facing dog. Now lift the left foot up. Step that through. And again, rise up into high lunge. And we'll airplane the arms back down again. And same thing, we're going to float up into warrior three. I'm going to step back so I have room. Float up into warrior three. We'll just be here in warrior three. Make sure you're breathing through this. The heel is nice and level with the ground. You're not coming out with your leg a little bit, but try to point the toes straight down to the ground. Wrists are by the hip and our airplane arm kind of variation. Neck is neutral. We're not crunching in the neck. Most importantly, we are breathing here. And with an inhale and then exhale, step it back down. Open up for warrior two. Arms come out. And with an inhale, reverse your warrior. And exhale, windmill the arms back down to the mat. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga vinyasa, lower down. Last one here. Flow through, back bend of your choice. And then meet me in that downward facing dog. Bring your knees to the mat wide, big toes to touch, and sink back into a much deserved child's pose. This is a good time while you're in child's pose. You can inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, letting out that heat that you've built up in your body. This is also a great time to think about what you just put your body through and what your body did for you. It's a great thing to be grateful for. Just a few more breaths here in child's pose. After your next exhale, with an inhale, come up into table posture and swing your legs around and come down onto your bottom. Feet on the mat towards the front of your mat. Arms extended all the way out. And slowly, one vertebrae at a time, starting from your tailbone, roll down onto your back. When your head touches the floor, your knees come up. Give yourself a nice knee hug and brace yourself. You did great during this practice. Rock back and forth, side to side. And then release your knees a little bit. So float your knees up to where they're pointing pointing straight up and down, your thighs pointing straight up and down, and grab your knees like joysticks and just kind of rock them back and forth, massaging the lower back. You can do circles, you can do figure eights. Just feeling all those bumpy parts if you have them in your lower back. Give your knees one last hug in and hold on to the left. Release the right leg. Length of the right leg lays on the ground, heel pointed straight up and down. And pass your right leg across your body for a nice knee hug, knee cross body twist. Nice fulfilling inhales. Nice easy exhales. After your next exhale, with an inhale, your knee comes back up to the center. Stretch it out to that same side just for a quick breath. Back up to the middle. Extend the length of the left leg out and down and bend the right knee. Hug it in and then pass it across the body. Opposite arms out, comes out to a T. Option to have the left arm out to a T, or even just giving a little bit of pressure to the top of that leg, to the knee. Not cranking it down to the ground, but just resting the weight of your arm. After your next exhale, inhale and float that knee back up to the center. And bring it out, open the hip, and bring it back to center. And place the sole of the right foot on the ground. Left foot, bend the knee, or left leg, bend the knee, comes to join. And then walk your feet out about as wide as your mat, or a little wider than shoulder width if you're just on the floor. And bring the knees to touch in the center. And this is drawbridge pose. As your knees make a little drawbridge in the middle. And a few options with the arms. You can have palms facing up, arms away from your body a little bit, Shavasana style. You can have both arms out to a T, which I don't have room for here, but the arms out to a T, or you can extend the arms overhead, maybe more out to a Y shape, just so the forearm rests on the ground. You can also place one hand over the heart, one hand over the belly, if you like to feel the movement of your breath. Many options for you. Choose the one that you love the most. My goal with this practice was to help you feel grateful for your body. Just to put your body through something that you may not normally do. Just to extend a little bit of gratitude for what your body does for you. It does a lot. It does a lot for us without even us having to work or think about it. And it's an amazing thing when we bring attention to our breath and we use it in our yoga practice. But most of the time during the day, you may not be even thinking about your breath, but your body makes sure that you get the oxygen that you need. Same thing when we eat food. We don't send the signal to our organs to tell them to digest the food and swallow the food. The only thing we do is chew and swallow. Our body just automatically does the rest. And I think that's a great thing to be grateful for. If you like, in the comments below, tell me what you're grateful for. Could be anything. Doesn't have to be something with your body. Just tell me something that you're grateful for. If you can't think of anything, your body is a great place to start. I want to thank you, everyone, for joining me in this practice today. The light in me sees the light in you. Namaste.